Hi, I'm Antonio Centeno, the founder of Real Men Real Style. Today we're going to be talking about the rules of eye contact. Okay, if you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. By doing that, these videos will come right to you. In addition, if you like this video, if you find it useful, I would appreciate it if you would like it down below. And last but not least, if you want to learn more about men's style, make sure to grab our free 47-page ebook. Okay, so eye contact, how does it work? Why is it even important? Well, eye contact is powerful. And in fact, making direct eye contact, especially in North America, displays interest, helps us convey trust, and also sends, in many cases, sexual signals. Now, do you notice I was talking and I wasn't looking at you? And if you're watching this video, usually in almost all my videos, I look right at the camera because I realize how important it is. So let me ask, when somebody isn't looking at you and they're talking, are you going to trust them as much? Do you feel that they're interested, that they're really paying attention to what you're saying? And if somebody overstares, especially if it's a woman looking at a man, or a man, and we do this a lot, we'll especially if we're interested in her, we will look at a woman and is it sending signals which convey more of a romantic interest? When it comes down to it, eye contact is very important. But it's interesting because it depends on what culture you're in as to what message you're conveying. There are many cultures throughout the world that eye contact and avoiding eye contact with someone who's in a higher position or in a position of authority is a show of respect. So you'll have children that will grow up and they're not supposed to make eye contact with adults. Now in the United States, and that's my perspective by the way, I was raised in Texas and eye contact actually changes, I think, a little bit in the United States as well. But what you're going to find is that all of the views expressed today, by the way, are coming from an American who was raised in Texas and spent time in the military. So I feel that I make a lot more eye contact than most. But having gone, when I went to business school at the University of Texas, a lot of my friends were from all over the world, from China, from Japan, from India, from Brazil, and they had different ways of expressing themselves and different ways of conveying what they meant whenever they were speaking. And I found it was very difficult for a number of my friends from China and Japan to look directly at people when they were talking, especially if they were in front of a group or they were speaking with a professor. And this isn't something that shows that they were weak. It simply is a cultural difference. So that's something you've got to be very aware of as we become more of a global world and you start to interact with people that we'd like to believe, and I think one of the sayings in the United States is that the eyes are the window to the soul. And that, I don't know how true that is because you've heard about these serial killers or these people that are just absolutely crazy that will lie right to your face and they look incredibly sincere. And what I'm going to get to though is talk about some of the rules from a North American perspective, mostly in business, but I also think in general contact. So if you're going to be talking with somebody, good eye contact is important in the United States. You want to have it for about 2 to 4 seconds when you begin the conversation. And if you're meeting with a group of people, you want to give them all the same courtesy. So you don't want to give somebody 4 to 8 seconds of eye contact and then this person half a second and then this person, 3 seconds. You want to try to, make it even. And this really comes down to not that you have a stopwatch and you're timing it, but you simply give everyone the same show of respect. Next, you're going to want to make sure that you show gestures, that you blink normally, that you smile, that you do everything that you would normally do. Because if you just stare at the person and you don't blink and you have no expression, it comes off as a stare. And stares are rude in the United States, especially for a prolonged period. It almost becomes like a gaping stare. You're also, as the conversation's going on, it's still, 50% of the time, that's kind of the number I shoot for, but give or take, a pretty good healthy percentage depending on what your style is. But you want to be looking at the person in the eye to show that you have interest, to show that you can be trusted, to show that you're paying attention. And then the other 50%, there's nothing wrong with, looking off a bit and kind of going into a pensive thought or perhaps you want to take notes or write something. I mean, there's nothing, in this modern day and age in actually pulling out your electronic device. If the person says something, let them know that you're not going to answer a call here, that, oh, that's a good point. Can you mind if I take a quick note? I take that as a compliment. Whenever somebody is talking and, they want to take a quick note down or a reminder to follow up on something. And so basically what I'm getting at is that avoid staring, and you want to give eye contact to show interest, to relay trust, and if you're out there and you're in the market, eye contact, as you probably know, is, well, even if you're not on the market, you still, it's old habits die hard. But you'll find that you can display interest in a person by conveying a little bit longer, that little bit of extra glance. Okay, so at this point in this video, I really would like to hear from you guys, because I know you come from all over the world. And I know I've missed a lot of rules when it comes to specific cultures, and I would like to hear some of your rules. So if you're over in India, if you're over in China, if you're over in Japan, if you're down in Brazil, if you're over in New Zealand, if you're in the UK, leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear how eye contact works in your culture. And at the end of the day, be sensitive to other people, because you may run into children. Normally, it's harder for them to make eye contact. I try to, whenever I'm talking with young children or medium-aged teenagers even, explain to them the importance of it and kind of use it as a lesson. With my son, I'm always explaining that you need to make eye contact with people, that it's very important. If you're a man, be aware that oftentimes women will not make eye contact with you because they don't want it, perhaps she's married and she just doesn't want it to, she's very modest and she doesn't want to come off as, she's making some type of advance. And finally, pay attention to culture. Very important as we become a more global world. All right, this has been Antonio Centeno with Real Men, Real Style. I'll see you in the comments. Bye-bye.